right. So again, let's kind of go through these briefly. It says write an algebraic expression by using algebraic terms. So you have 2 more than 4 times the cube of a number. What does it mean to cube a number? What's that mean? What do you think? Yeah, you put a 3 for the power. So 4 times the cube of a number, so a number cubed times 4, and then it's 2 more than that. So you could write +2 at the end. You could have had the +2 at the beginning. So I think because we read the 2 first, some of us had this. Either one is fine. Quotient means division. So it says the quotient of 5 less than a number. So less than a number means you take 5 away from that number. So that's n minus 5. Quotient means divide. The word and tells you where the division occurs. So it's n minus 5 divided by 12. Okay, the cube of a number. So again, a number cubed means it's to the power of 3. Increased by 4 times that same number. So if it's increased by 4, so we're adding 4, so it's n cubed increased by 4 times that same number, so it would be 4n. Three times the difference means subtraction, of a number and 8. The 3 times has to go outside the parentheses. Okay. Okay, we have 6x equals 72. Guys, I'm not asking you to solve for x. I'm asking you to write the expression in words. So that would be like saying 6 times a number equal in words is the word is. So 6 times a number is 72. Yeah. You can. Okay, number 6, you could say a number. I'm just using new terms for you. Increased by 15 is 90. Oops. No E in there. 1. Seven. You can say a number subtracted by. You could say the difference of a number. The word and tells you where the subtraction sign goes. And last, you have to be careful for this one. So you could say twice a number is, but here you have to make sure you specify that it's the same number. So it'd be twice a number is that same number. So you need the word same squared, because squared tells you power of 2, kind of like cube tells you power of 3. And then maybe we say decreased by 4. All right, so a big part of solving equations is solving equations that don't equal a number. So when you solve an equation that doesn't equal a number, it is called a literal equation. So again, literal equations are equations that do not equal numbers. They're going to equal other variables. So in number 9, you have x divides a plus 8 equals b. We want to solve for x. So in order to solve for x, you're going to first subtract 8. And then to get rid of dividing by a, we multiply by a. Remember, multiplication is commutative, so instead of having b minus 8 times a, I can rewrite it as a times the quantity b minus 8. And then it says find restrictions. So restrictions are simply like a cannot equal, and in this case, the answer is 0. And a can't be 0 because right here, we were dividing by a. Well, we know in math, we can't divide by 0. So since we were dividing by a at some point, a cannot be 0. So those are called restrictions. Okay, in example 10, the first thing I'm going to do is add 15 to both sides. So that I have x on one side and the numbers on the other. So if you think about, if I asked you what 4x plus 5x was equal to, you would tell me 9x, right? So you added the 4 and the 5. Well, the same is the truth in example number 10. We just don't know what A and B are. They might be 4 and 5. They might be 10 and 11. So A plus B times x is equal to 15. If you had told me 4 plus 5 was 9, 9x equaled 15, you would say, oh, divide by 9. So that's what we're going to do with the A plus B. So we get 15 is or x is equal to 15 divided by a plus b. So again, we have a denominator. So what that means is my denominator cannot equal 0. That once again is your restriction. Okay, and 11, we're trying to get x by itself. So we're going to subtract from both sides the b term. And then you have 2x divided by a. So to get rid of division, we multiply. And then we're left with 2 times x. So we have to get rid of the multiplication by dividing. So we get x equals a, d minus b, all over 2. Can 2 ever equal 0? No. However, if you go back up here, we had dividing by a again. So we know that we can't divide by a if a is 0. So once again, we have to say that a does not equal 0. Any questions on that? Okay. So that leaves word problems. I know how much you guys love word problems. So it says Adrian's using part of the garage as one of the long sides of a rectangular pen. So in my mind, I'm picturing part of a house or a garage wall right here. And he says he wants the pen to be 3 times as long as it is wide. So it means he wants the pen to be long and narrow. So 3 times as long as it is wide would mean that the length is 3W. He has 68 feet of fencing. So that's kind of like our perimeter. So in this case, there's only 3 sides that need fencing because he used the house as the other. So it would be 2W plus L. But we are going to use our substitution property to say that P is 68 and L is 3W. So the width is equal to 68 divided by 5. And our units are feet. The length is 3 times that value, or 40.8 feet. And you could check and take 40.8 plus 13.6 plus 13.6, add them together and see that it equals 68. So we've met all of our goals. Okay, and 13, it says a rectangle is twice as long as it is wide. So here's your width, here's your length. The length needs to be double the width. So L is equal to 2W. Its perimeter is 48. And we know perimeter is 2L plus 2W. But in this case, our L is 2W. So we get 48 equals 2 times 2W plus 2W. So once again, we're substituting in. Combining like terms. And solving for our variables. So we get W is equal to 8. And L is equal to 2W, or 16. Yeah. Which two? Like number 12, you got a 2W. And then for this problem, you also got 2W. So, I got you. Perimeter is the sum of all the sides. So in this problem, you have a rectangle, which means there's a W here and a W here. So W and W gives 2W. And then there's a length here and a length here. So that's where the two lengths came from. We replaced because it told me that the length is twice the width. So in order to get everything in terms of one variable, we replaced. So the length was also, since the length is equal to twice the width, we replaced the length with twice the width. All right. So similarly to those problems, we're told that the sides of a quadrilateral are in the ratio 2, 3, 4, 6. So that means that we have a quadrilateral. Maybe it's a trapezoid, maybe it's not. Its side lengths are 2, 3, 4, 6. So if they tell you a ratio, then they have a variable with that ratio. Perimeter is 132. But again, we have to recall that perimeter is the sum of all the sides. So the perimeter is really 2x plus 3x plus 4x plus 6x. So 2 plus 3 is 5, 4 plus 6 is 10, 10 plus 5 is 15x. So you get 132 divided by 15, which gives x equals 8.8. But you have to make sure you read the problem. It says find the lengths of the sides. It doesn't say find the value of x. So the lengths of the sides are actually equal to 2x, 3x, 4x, and 6x because I have 4 sides. So 8.8 times 2 is 17.6. 8.8 times 3 is 26.4. 8.8 times 4 is 35.2. And 8.8 times 6 is 52.8. You have a triangle that's 12, 13, 15. And the perimeter is 120. So you get 120 equals 30x. Sorry, 40x. Divide both sides by 40, and you get x equals 3. But again, it asks you to find the lengths of the sides. So that's 12 times 3, 13 times 3, and 15 times 3. Okay, so the next pages in your packet are the homework. Once again, they match the book. But you need to have that done for tomorrow.